Hello, my name is Jeff Murrah. I want to welcome you to True Texas History, where today, November the 14th, it's the anniversary of the death of Martin Dies Jr. Now, Martin Dies Jr. is, in my mind, a Texas icon. As a congressman, he accomplished quite a bit, yet very few Texas history books will go ahead and cover it. Why, you may wonder? That's where things get interesting. Martin Dies is one of those characters that went ahead and went against the grain, and he dared to speak out. You may say it's a family tradition because his father also served, and he was also very outspoken. In fact, Martin Dies Sr. Was very opposed to the United States entering World War I. Now, in terms of his son, following in his footsteps, his son was also quite a firebrand in terms of speaking out against things. Now, during the time that Martin Dies Jr. was in office, one of the big issues was the New Deal, Roosevelt's New Deal, and he was vehemently opposed to the New Deal. In fact, his sentiment about New Dealers is that they were red dupes. He considered it pretty much a communist issue, and he made it his mission to go ahead and root out the communists that were in the government and influencing society at that time. It's strangely enough, he was the head of the House version of the House Committee on Un-American Activities. Now, in the Senate, it was McCarthy. And you hear a lot about McCarthy, but you don't hear much about Martin Dies. It's almost like McCarthy's the one that catches all the bad press, whereas Dies was also investigating things. I mean, he investigated Hollywood, he investigated the federal government, he was investigating a lot of areas. In fact, one of his interactions with Roosevelt, he claimed that Roosevelt told him, "I do not believe in communism any more than you do, but there's nothing wrong with communists in the country. Several of my best friends I've got are communists." I mean, this was the attitude of FDR. And then FDR, in another episode, got on to Dies because he said, "I wanted you to investigate just, the Nazis and the fascists, but not the communists." And Martin Dies' mindset was, we need to support American ideals. We need to root out, if there's communists, if there's Nazis, they all need to be rooted out. In fact, when he was investigating the Federal Writers Program, which was a WPA program that gave out government money to writers, he found that roughly about a third of the writers were communists. And when he went to go ahead and investigate Hollywood, he turned up more communists. In fact, one of the front organizations chasing out communists was the Anti-Nazi League. So, this is one of those things that people hiding behind labels. This was going on back in the 30s and 40s, and it continues to today. But Martin Dies is one of those that dared to take a stand, dared to speak out, dared to go ahead and take a stand for what he saw as American values at the time. It's no wonder that you don't see him mentioned in a lot of the Texas history books, because he dared to speak out on things. He was fearful of an attack on American facilities in the days leading to World War II, and went to Roosevelt with his fears and concerns, and Roosevelt shut him down. So, Martin Dies is, like I said, a Texas icon, a firebrand. there are a lot of congressmen that dared to speak out. A congressman from Texas that dared to speak out over the years, yet you very rarely hear much about him. The history books make it sound like everybody wanted the New Deal, everybody wanted to go along with it, and that's not true. A lot of the history is whitewashed. You need to look at what was actually said, what was actually done. But this, on the anniversary of his death, I wanted to go ahead and do a brief video on Martin Dice Jr., essentially pay regards to him, and hope you read up on him. I think you'll find him an interesting character that history has largely forgot. And while you're at it, visit the Martin Dice Jr. State Park out in East Texas. Until next time, this is Jeff Moran wishing you Vaya con Dios, my friends. Goodbye.